Hello again, everybody. My name is Michal Durak. I'm a health and nutrition coach. I live in Italy, in Milan. Originally, I'm from Slovakia. I live in Italy, and I'm going to do it in English. So it's nice and messy today, but it's going to make it interesting. And what are we going to talk about today? It's really fascinating topic. We are going to talk about habits. There has been good few books written about it. It has been talked about quite a lot recently. The truth is really habits shape our life. Habits shape our behavior and shape our identity and kind of guide us like a silent driver underneath wherever we go. We think we are doing things consciously, but we really are not. Today we're going to speak about why the habits don't stick first, then how to fix it, and then I'm going to leave a space for some Q&As, guys, if you have some questions, which I hope you're going to have any of those in case I prepared some questions which you might wanted to have but didn't come to your mind. So I'm ready. It's going to be more about 40 minutes from now on. Anytime you need to go, just please go. I'm happy to see you. I'm happy that you are here. And I hope you're going to get some practical value and some instruments for your ongoing journey towards any goal you're going to set. So first of all, I'm going to define habits. Habits are habit is a behavior. It's something which is performed automatically. You know that our brain, it's amazingly set to optimize. So whatever we do costs us energy, and to save this energy or to use as little as possible, we create these automations. And our life is full of those. There are some of them which are obviously making us survive, like breathing and all the systems in our body. This is not a habit. This is just something which is our body creating to go on automatically. And then there are behaviors which we create or we put in system. And of course, the most typical example is brushing our teeth, putting on our shoes, stuck in our clothes, putting down our food. There is really tons of them which we perform every day, and they are basically unconscious. And the biggest example of how to understand a habit, remember the first time you were driving, it has been a really complex behavior on looking on the road, controlling the paddles, pressing the clutch, and it seemed really complicated. Now, most of the people think that they can drive and text or do some other things. So driving became a habit again, but sometimes it is kind of counterproductive. But what we want to do now, we're going to have a little bit of control over our habits because they can bring us toward our new self, our better self, our goal, whatever we strive to, whatever we want to achieve. It's going to base on the habits we put in action and the bad habits we remove from the journey. So let's look at why the habits don't stick, first of all. One of the most common mistakes is that we have all or nothing mindset. We strive for perfection. So we want right away that everything is going to be perfect. And if we do a smallest slip, there is a F it and we just let it go. I give you my example from many years ago. And I think maybe some people can relate. It's not going to be exactly healthy, but I was trying to quit smoking. And you start with the first day, everything is perfect. You are I was incredibly tense, but I was perfect. I was on the mission. And as soon as 2 or 3 days later, I would have one cigarette. Oh no, that's okay. That's it. That's it. I cannot do it. The same like we are not going to eat sweets. And as soon as we put a little sugar in our coffee, okay, no, that's it. That's it. I'm leaving it. So the all or nothing mindset, striving for the perfection is the biggest enemy. Perfect is the enemy of good. Even though it sounds really obvious, most of the people still break their habits, the new habits, on this principle. The second important principle of why the habit fail is that we rely or we hope for the willpower. There has been a lot of talk recently about willpower and motivation. How does it work? What does it do? And what we can do with it? And there is still good few conflicting opinions. What comes out of the research is if you believe that the willpower is a limiting resource, that it will be a limiting resource. It's pretty much as simple as that. But what is the science teaching us from the numerous experiments? It's that willpower, it's a limiting factor. We all have a different amount or quantity of the willpower. And if you are having a demanding life, kids, work, a lot of tasks to do, maybe you care about your parents, you are a caregiver, there is a lot of things which already demand your willpower. There is hardly going to be any willpower left to sustain the new habit. So there is going to have to be, good morning, good morning. We're going to have to look for priorities when it comes to willpower. And you're also going to have to understand that the motivation, it's something which comes and goes. It's really rapid and it's really unstable. Willpower is something which you can train and which you can then use with some, in a little doses. Once you know that you have a demanding day, and then on your paper there was written that you're going to cook a dinner for the rest of the week, you're going to batch cook, and your day has been never ending, and there has been a lot of that, you're probably going to want to leave it that day and start the next day. So the willpower, it's something to take in account and make a strategy around it, because it exists. We all have it. We all can train it. You don't have to be born with it. But sometimes we give it too much power and we rely on it too much. So we're going to go back to it on how to deal with willpower. The third biggest problem is that we don't connect a why. There is no emotional connection with the habit. We decide to do something. An example would be, I decide to run a marathon. But my identity, my most important thing, it's I'm a person who does yoga. I meditate, I focus on flexibility. I try to be calm, I try to save energy. And even if the new habit, it's sexy, attractive, beautiful, and it might look really shiny for other people, it is something which is completely conflicting with my identity. So the day 2, day 3, or day 5, this is, I'm going to let it go and things are going to just be in dust and it's not going to work. So when I'm doing coaching with the people, or if you receive ever any coaching, before you set a goal, before you put a target, and from this goal and target, eventually you're going to create new habits. You're going to want to understand the identity which you want to create. You're going to want to create the powerful why. So if I want to lose weight, I don't just want to lose weight because the sake of itself. I want to lose weight because I want to become a healthy, good-looking person who feels well, is confident, and performs better in life and has more energy. So when I create a new identity, I write it down, I burn it in our brain, it will be a compass for me. As soon as there is a decision to be done over new habit. So as I said, if eating healthy, it's a new habit towards my new goal, which is losing weight. If there is a big barbecue party with my friends and I'm invited, I decided to be a healthy person, I decided to lose weight, and I decided to perform better. This is my guide. I'm going to probably bring something healthy, eat maybe a little bit less, and this new identity is going to guide my behavior. It's going to become easier. So attaching the identity, attaching the why to the new habit, it's going to make it much more stronger and much more durable. But people most of the time don't do this. They just take on a habit because they read it in the magazine, saw it in social, or some of our friends is doing it, and it doesn't have a value for us. It looks good, sounds good, but it doesn't have a value. So this is the third problem. The fourth problem, it's go big and go fast, which means that I want to be a healthy person. Great. I have defined this. So from the next week, I'm going to eat every day 2 healthy meals. I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week. I'm going to be running on Sunday, Saturday. I'm going to be doing yoga and meditation every day before my breakfast. And this is, guys, overwhelming even saying it. So it's like the New Year's resolution. Sometimes we do something huge. We don't break it down. And even it sounds good, the idea of it makes us feel great, it's overwhelming. And there is something which is called homeostasis. It is defined for the physical body and also for the mental body, for our mental eye, for the identity. So if the new identity it's huge, big, and overwhelming, the old one is going to be pulling us back, and it's going to do the sabotage, and it's going to do what happens already many times. We're going to fail with the new habits. So I'm gonna explain you what is the GAPA model, which I'm using in my coaching, which means goal, practice, sorry, goal, skill, practice, and action, which means starting with small little movements and getting used to new habit, creating a space for it, creating the new identity, creating something which helps us attach, but in a small steps, because it's the only way which statistically works, and that's what we want. We don't want a great, strong friend who just throw away the cigarettes day after, never smoked since. This works for some people, but most of the people are going to have to stop slowly or are going to have to start slowly with whatever they do. So this was the 40. Then, and this is for most of the people obvious, but still oblivious as well, it's the lack of the environmental support. So our environment, which is shaping our behavior, starts from what we feel, what we have within, how we think, continues with how we dress, where we live, where we sit, the desk where we work, and it expands up to the confines of the country we live. Because of the politics and the culture of the country, it's also shaping our behavior and our habits. We all know that, in America or in the United States, they have a certain way of eating. In Italy, another one. In Japan, another one. In Turkey, another way of eating or dealing with the problems or looking at obesity or thinking about politics. All this is shaping our behavior, even though we don't realize it maybe. It's just really subtle and might be even subconscious. But if we take all these in account, it might help us to be prepared for certain situation, to remove certain pattern of thinking and behavior, which are unconscious completely, and to create a new habit based and organized on a new way of thinking. So we create the new environment. In the habits, we speak about the trigger, which is something which starts the behavior. The trigger, I'm going to really give you a simple one. I buy a bag of chips. They are in my closet. I open the closet every day to remove certain things or to take some food or to take my beans or pasta, whatever is there. And the chips are looking at me. It's a trigger. I used to eat them when I feel an discomfort. It's an example. I used to eat them when I feel stressed or emotionally unwell or not at ease. They are there. They trigger the behavior. I eat them. Then I have a reward. For a while, I'm numbed. I numb the behavior. I feel better, and this is the loop. And however simple and banal this might sound, this is how it works. Our environment is full of triggers, which starts the behavior which we would like to control. So we're going to have to also create the triggers for the new habit, something which is positive. And we're going to look at it after. And the last one, and the most important, it's we need accountability. When you create a New Year's resolution, the 31st of December, in your mind, you don't say to anybody, the 1st of January, you're going to wake up tired and maybe hangover or whatever happens on the 31st, and nobody's going to check on you. And in a week, nobody's going to check on you. So how is the new behavior going? How are you getting on with the new habit? What did you stop? Did you start? We need accountability. And for example, coach is the best accountability partner for you and for your new habit, or a friend or a partner or a spouse or a parent, whoever really cares for you and whoever you trust. And whoever is able to have an emotional detachment from your goal. Because if you decide to become a healthy person and you've been having pizza, barbecue, or burger with your friend 3 times a week, he's not going to like this new habit. So you need somebody who's emotionally detached and who is going to vote for you, somebody who's going to be a best cheerleader. Usually the coaches are somebody who does this job in an excellent way because we really care, but at the same time we don't. Your new habit is not going to change my life, it's going to change your life, but I really care that you achieve your new target, your goal, and your new habit is going to stick. Or, as I said before, a friend, a husband, a spouse, or a parent, but they need to know about it so they can check on you in a friendly way. And you know how it is. If you decide to go to the gym in two, sometimes when you don't want to go and your friends calls you, so let's go today. No, I don't feel like, come on, we're going to have fun, we're going to talk. There is usually a certain little motivation from your accountability buddy, which helps you to go over the little setback or go over the little tiredness and actually achieve the target of the week or of the day which you set for yourself. So to repeat again, which are the five biggest obstacles on why the habits don't stick? It's first, we are striving for perfection. The perfection doesn't exist. Let's start from there. Second, we don't have an emotional why. Sorry, the second one was the we rely on the willpower, which is a little bit of a limiting resource, and we talk about it later. Then we don't have the emotional why. We don't have the connection. We didn't create the identity for the new habit. Then we get all or that we get big and we go too fast. So we create a complicated new um, idea and we try to stick with it, but for most of the people it's impossible. So we need to make it smaller. Then we are missing that accountability body, somebody who really looks after ourselves and who looks after our habit, maybe check on us, ask for data, and maybe helps us, motivates us, or gives us few words of support on the day we need it. And then the last one is, sorry, the lack of environmental support, which means that we didn't shape our environment. From the day two, we just started to do something new. So this is why the habits don't stick. Now, we want to talk about why they do stick. Even though it's pretty obvious, it's going to be more or less the opposite of why they don't stick. And there are different approaches. There have been different books written on it. One of the most fascinating, the most simple, most easy to understand is the James Clear Atomic Habits book, which I don't know, maybe you have read, you have heard, or you have seen. And he created the 4 steps of how to create and undo habits, and we're going to look at them afterwards. But now I'm going to give you the bullet points, which are slightly bigger with an explanation of how to make the habit stick. So first of all, you're going to focus on your identity. I give you an example, which is mine. For example, I am a successful yogi who coaches people towards health and happiness. This is my identity. And whichever habits doesn't stick with it, I usually use it as a lens. Okay, my friends ask me, let's do next week, let's go for, my God, let's go for a hiking on Saturday. Looks really good, sounds really sexy, sounds really healthy, but I usually do yoga every day. I have a webinar or I have something to study in the afternoon. And this new thing, even though it's beautiful, it's not in line with my identity and it doesn't help me to go where I need to go. I chose a really bad example because going hiking with friends is always to be done. It's something really nice, really healthy, and it helps you in any way. It's therapeutic and it's nice. No, sorry, the best idea would be, okay, let's go for cocktails on Saturday night, or let's go for a big party and stay up until 2 o'clock. And this is I don't really, there's no brainer. I don't have to think about it. I'm not going to do this, or I'm going to do it in my way. I bring a non-alcoholic beer. I'm going to have a great evening. I probably make sure that they have some healthy food, or I bring it myself even though I'm easy, and I'm not going to stay until 2 o'clock. And all this because I've created an identity, and this identity it's my bussola, my lens, or my compass on deciding if this is good or not. So I don't have to be there. Yeah, but maybe they're going to judge me. Maybe yeah, but once I should be more easy and more flex. No, it's pretty easy. It's straightforward. Most of you already have this for many things. So if you want to create a new habit, it's going to have to be attached to identity, which you and only you can decide. There is a set of questionnaires. There is a way of guide you on how to decide this new identity. And in coaching, we call it the destination postcard. It is who you want to be, where you want to be, and how you want to do it. This is a little description of your perfect personality. And it takes in account many things, not just that you want to be a sporty person, but who you want to be with, what kind of job makes you happy, what is your daily routine, where do you live, and then all this. You create this is usually an A4 page or maybe shorter, and you keep it with yourself and you check on it. It might change slightly, but what we want is to be as clear as possible on the destination, on who you want to be. And this is going to be the guideline for any new habit or any bad habit or old habit which you want to look at. Then I told you I'm going to explain the GSPA model, which is called the goal, skill, practice, and ability. It's something what the precision nutrition use, and it's a beautiful model which has been proved over 200,000 people, and which means that if you create a goal, which is a complicated thing, then there is going to be a skill or a set of skills to learn, which are based on practices which you repeat, and they are made out of a daily simple action which you do. So I'll give you an example. If your diet is unhealthy or you don't exercise, let's go with the exercise. If you don't exercise, but you would like to lose 10 pounds or 5 kilos within 2 months, you're going to have to learn some skill. The skill is going to be eating well and exercising, most probably. Usually we use these two things. For some people in the recent world is also sleep well. So you want to learn these three skills. Then we're going to decide for the practices which create these skills. To exercise, you're going to have to choose a gym. You're going to get the membership. You're going to have to get your clothes, get your working out program, and and learn how to exercise, because we are not born with that. If we don't exercise in a good way, we can hurt ourselves. So this is the first thing. Then you're going to have to eat better. So you're going to have to learn some recipes or find a new takeaway or do a new shopping list or learn how to batch cook. These all are practices with small ones which are going to define the skill. And sleep better, well, that's a big topic, but a new routine, a good environment, a proper food, not overwhelming evening, whatever there is. And we're going to break this down to small actions. And usually every week you start with one, maximum two actions, and you bring them forward until they become completely confident and completely automatical. So until they become habit, you don't put on a new one. You get the point. You understand what I mean. So you create from really, really small steps something a little bit bigger. GSPA: goal, skill, practice, action. You can find this all online. It's not a secret. It's nothing really difficult. But what I meant to say, it's start small, and then you can start stacking the habits. This is also one of the ways of how to make a new habit attractive. And this I gave the most typical example I give. It's I love to work out. But sometimes I'm tired. Sometimes I have things to do. Sometimes I just don't feel like because it's raining and I need to go 15 minutes in my car. And there is always why not to do something which is a little bit tiring and extremely healthy. So I also like sauna. So I made sure that out of the 5 or 6 gyms which are in my area, which are close enough, I chose the one which has sauna in it, which is a spa center. And I always make sure that I create the time to have a little bit of 10, 15 minutes after my exercise to do the sauna. And sometimes I convince myself that I'm going to the sauna, but while I'm there, let's go to the gym for 10 or 15 minutes. I just show up in the gym. I put on my clothes, I go there, I say, today I'm just going to do a bit of stretching. And then sometimes the motivation comes in and hits it, or it becomes the trigger of the gym, makes me exercise. Sometimes I just make it really, really easy, but I make sure that I go to sauna. It's like you choose something really, really nice, something which is really comfortable, something which you're going to do really voluntarily, which is going to make you do the extra step, and then you attach something tiring to it. The easiest one, it's I don't have time to exercise. Most of the people say this. Of course, we don't. Life is busy. We have phones, kids, works, jobs, things to do. So what I tell you, do you drink coffee? Yes, I do. Do you have a coffee machine at home? Most of the people do. Does it take time to heat up? Yes, it takes 2 or 3 minutes. So you have 2 or 3 minutes to do 5 push-ups, 10 squats, and I don't know, 10 sit ups. It sounds ridiculous. It is ridiculous. But if you stack it and you repeat it over time, this is going to create a result. And usually, what we do, we compare doing nothing compared to doing this 3 minutes routine. Is there a difference? It's huge, the difference within 2 or 3 months. So I just stack it. And every time I'm going to switch on my coffee machine, oh yeah, sit ups, push ups, pull ups, whatever. It might sound uncomfortable or stupid, and it might be for some people, but this is the logic of how to stack the habits. We are talking about the environment. So the third one, it's design your environment. So what you want to do, it's make it really obvious and attractive and inevitable for you to do the new habit. For example, as I told you, my identity is I'm a successful yogi who coaches people to health and happiness. I wanted to make sure that I can do yoga every day. The studios which we have are usually busy and I have to look at the schedule. I'm already lost. So what I did, I'm really lucky. I have a big living room, and I created a corner which is for yoga. I don't mind to look at it, and I'm really happy to look at it actually. And it makes me sometimes to do yoga even during the days which I didn't plan it. I say today I'm busy, I'm tired, I don't feel like doing it in the morning. In the afternoon, I go there, I sit on the sofa to read a book for 10 minutes. I look at my two bolsters and a hammock which is hanging from the wall and the ropes. I'm like, yeah, I think I can do 10 minutes. And you always find 10 minutes for something which makes you feel well. But once it's there, once it's obvious, once it's staring at you, it's much more probable that you're gonna go for it than if you have to go into the closet and remove the things and then pull out your mat and then go with the third floor or outside. It's so you want to make the environment in a way that it is easy, like the healthy food, like the coffee machine. You put it there so it is comfortable, you put in the fridge what you use every day in front, and it's the logic of making things easy. If you want to start running, then you're going to put your running shoes in front of your door, so you're going to hit them the next day and fall on them if you don't put them on or if you don't do something with them. And you have to just go through the little resistance of the first few days until you get used to that this is happening, and then slowly slowly you're going to start. First day you want to put the running shoes and you might maybe walk around the house, and then the next day, you're going to walk around the house a little bit longer. And then you're going to add maybe 200 meters. And then you're going to do 1K. You want to start small, but your environment wants to convince you that this is happening. So you want to make it obvious. As we were saying before, you need accountability. So when you create a goal, you break it down. If you want to run 5 miles or 5K, sorry, 5 kilometers which is the number one goal for most of the people who wants to start running, you don't start with 1K. You start with 1 kilometer, and you set this progress maybe in 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, I'm going to be able to run 1K. Okay, what does it mean? What do I have to do this week? This week, I'm going to do 3 walks, runs, which are going to be 500 meters long. You're going to do them. You're going to do check on your list, like when you do the shopping list, and then you're going to slowly add. And this is how you go towards your goal. But you need tracking. What we cannot measure, we cannot control. It is like this in business with the finance. It is like this with even with our friends, and everything which is uncontrollable or which we cannot check, see, look, count, write down. It's out of our control. So we want to track the progress and we want the accountability buddy. So the coach can help you really to stay on track. He's going to call you. Might be uncomfortable because, I didn't do this week. Why you didn't do it? What are the obstacles? What are the progresses which you have done? And then the last one, it's you want to prepare for the setbacks. So another thing which coaches is doing, I'm going to ask you if this is your habit or if this is your target for the next week, like you want to increase the protein, you're going to be doing 3 protein shakes. Tell me exactly how you're going to do it and what can be the problems. And we prepare. Okay, on Tuesday, I'm not in the office, I'm on the road. Okay, what you can do? You can put in the bottle already the shake powder, put it in your bag the night before, the day after, you're just going to put in water and milk and shake. And you have, like, you get me, you get me what I mean. Prepare for the unexpected, but you have to expect it. You have to put in account which might be the problems. And once you know this, then it's much more easy. So again, I recapitulate, sorry, to put it all together. You create an identity for your new goal. Then you break the things to smaller skills, practices, and actions, and you start small. And you stack the good habit with the sexy one, with the one you like. You make sure that your environment is helping you. Then you track the progress. You write down, you control yourself, and then you get accountability. All this might be just the perfect combination of how to create the good new habit and make it stick and make it last. So I hope you guys have a bit of value of what I said. Most of the things you might have heard already, they're obvious, but sometimes in life we are more receptive and the channels is more open on to understand of how to do something. And sometimes I've heard things 1 million times and then I heard it in the proper day and it just touched the string the chord. There are a few methods and coaching techniques of how to work with it. One of it's called emotional home. On working on the emotional home, it's you want to reshape the way to talk to yourself. And for this, we use a technique which is called the triad. And it's more like an affirmation, but it's a little bit more soft. It's a Tony Robbins technique, or he made it famous. And the triad technique is that you is has three components: the physical, the mental, and the emotional. So you focus on when you have been at your best. Then you focus on the way you feel when you are at your best, physically, how you're standing, what's your posture. So you put yourself into the posture, you think about some success you had, and then you think about how you feel. And when you do this, it's kind of like hugging yourself. You bring on the good emotions, you recall something which makes you feel good. And this is a technique which, if performed every day, it's slowly changing the way we think about ourselves, the way we see ourselves. And it is performed to create a confidence and to feel a little bit better. But what you are asking me, it's to have a tool when it's happening. When you are like, okay, I would like to go for a walk today, but it's raining, I cannot go, but I feel bad because I should do it. Well, the self-compassion, which is a slow progress, which is something to be learned. And the most important things, it's when I was saying, if you have the identity created and the goal written down, the goal is over a long period of time. If you have a bad day and the things are not working out and you feel really bad because, as you said, you are a perfectionist, and I understand you because I'm too. And that day you are like, I'm failing, it's terrible. You look at your goal, you see that it is composed of many things over a longer period of time. And you just want to make sure that, okay, today it's like this. It is what it is. Acceptance, even though it's hard, it is what it is. Tomorrow, I'm going to just make sure, if I can, that I'm doing what is going to bring me towards my goal. There is no magic pill, no magic solution. If when you are feeling like you are feeling, you also have to want to be soft with yourself, and feeling bad about not doing something, it's inevitable. You're going to feel bad for a while, but it usually goes away in a few minutes. The science said that you cannot feel bad for half of the day. You're going to feel bad for a few minutes. Then you look at your goal, you say, okay, it's more important that I do something consistently, not perfectly. And it's hard to put it in, but this is the only way. Tomorrow I'm going to go for a walk, and it's okay. Or today I had a bag of chips. Or today I had a big hamburger, even if I didn't want to be. Or today I had few drinks. It's okay. You sleep. It's so human as possible. Tomorrow, or from tomorrow, I'm going to start. I'm going to make sure that I'm following on my habits. There really isn't any other super functional solution. What I use sometimes is breathing technique, which just brings my nervous system down. Few breaths, which centers me, which is what I use instantly, or some other technique which helps you to change your state, because your state is what is making you feel this way. And I'm sitting here, I'm feeling in a certain way. So the most easy solution to change how I feel is to stand up and do something else, like a distraction. And there is inevitably going to be a bad day. There will be a lot of them. And there will be really many beautiful days. But you know that there are going to be the bad days, and they are inevitable. It's human. It's really impossible to pretend that we're going to feel great from now on every day and all the time. It's also not correct. So if you don't do what you are supposed to do, just make sure that you do it from tomorrow or from the day after, as soon as you feel better. Don't allow the little slip to compromise everything. I don't know if I helped you, Krista. I don't know if there is something which you can really use, but there is the triad, there is the self-compassion. You hug yourself, you really say, it's okay, today it's like this. It's an acceptance, but the acceptance, the self-compassion is something, it's a longer process to learn. And just make sure that when something bad happens, the way you talk to yourself, you stop it. We are sometimes much harder to ourselves than we will ever be to anybody around us. Like, my phone slips. Oh, I'm so stupid. This always happens. Oh, God. No. Stop. Okay, it happened. The phone fell down. Today, I was distracted, to soften the self-talk.